Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Today we're going to be looking at the Great Adventure. You can see on the thumbnail we've got Frodo from the Lords of the Ring trilogy. You know, Frodo given the precious ring and has to walk off and go into all kinds of adventures and dark places and meet various monsters and overcome challenges in order to get through the mission. It is like the hero's journey. And I want to tie that to something that's in us and in some of you more than others. And this is the collective circuitry of abstract. It's the abstract circuit, and it's all about experiences. But before we go into that, let me just introduce myself. I am Richard Beaumont. I've been in human design for 25 years, and 20 of those have been training professional analysts. Okay, back to the adventure. So we have these circuits. We're not all the same, and we have mixtures of circuitry in us. Most of us do, not everyone, but often we're a mixture of, the logical, precise side and the individual, wacky, creative side, and the tribal, warrior side, and this is mine and that is yours, and we're all one here together. And then you have this. And then you have this movement towards progress, wanting change, wanting above everything else, experience. The experience of going through things, expanding in that experience, growing through it, whether it be a relationship or a trek to the Himalayas. It's really about growing through life. So adventure is very important. And the adventure comes through the chemistry of desire, full of expectations. This is going to be a wonderful experience. Yeah, well, expectation is a precursor to disappointment. And so there is this kind of roller coaster wave that goes through the emotional side of the abstract circuit, which is like, yeah, it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. Or, oh, it was fantastic, but now it's over. And even if it's over and they've had a great time, it's like, well, I do want to do it again, but I want to do it again in a different way. It's got to be a slight difference. I want to grow through the experience of something I've never met before. And when you're considering the abstract circuitry, you're considering a view on the world that is not exactly as the world is, because that's too boring. The abstract circuit wants to live in an animated reality, almost like a mythical reality. Literally, the hero's journey, going off and experiencing things, finding out, what you can cope with and what you can't cope with, jumping into experiences that you expected would be wonderful and turns out to be a bloody nightmare, and you're overwhelmed and you're in crisis, and then somehow you get through, and you get back and you share those experiences, often in stories and in memories and the retelling of what it was like and the emotional aspect of that as well. I thought I was done for then. There seemed to be no way out. But somehow I caught out the glimpse of my eye, a small chance. I didn't have much of a chance, but it was all I had. And I went for it, and you really get involved with the emotional content of what they're telling you. So this is an animated reality. It is, in fact, within the circuitry, it has the start codon of the 41st gate, which is fantasy. The imagination, to imagine what it would be like to experience this with other people and share it. What a great time we'd have. ... later on in the tale, and then it all went wrong, and then somehow, we made it. We lost John, I'm afraid. Yeah, and Jane will never be the same again, but somehow, that was one hell of experience. So it is really the path of adventure, but it's also the path of idealism in terms of the mental side. This is where the philosophies come. This is where thinking about how it could be better. What are the philosophies to include having a life that's hopeful, a life that is rich with experience, but also balanced. And so there's been all kinds of social and political philosophies that have come out of this circuit, and some very interesting tales and some very interesting stories and some very interesting movies, because in the mental movement of this chemistry through the ajna, through the conceptual mind, we get into all kinds of images, including moving images. And whenever you're thinking about a story and passing on information through experience, you are always talking about a beginning and a middle and an end. And to be given enough time to be able to tell the story from beginning to end and to really go into it. You don't want to be held by time. You want to be telling the story according to the people that are around you, that you're sharing it with, so that you all get enraptured in that. I've got a life force in me, the 2946, the journey of discovery, the finding out what things are like by going into them, by making that commitment, and then going into them and going, well, got to see it through to the end. It's cyclic. I got to get to the end of the cycle. Part of the maturity in the abstract circuit is completing things, going through the whole cycle, and only then, when you reflect upon it, do you know what it was really all about? Whether that be a relationship or a business or a country you've lived in, or a shaky aeroplane ride that you didn't think you were going to make it out of. Whatever it is, there is this going through it. Now, I have that in me, as I say, and I also have the storyteller in me, as you might imagine. So it's something that I really love. I've seen it come up in terms of people's appreciation of different symbolism, that will tell the story, whether it's in a pattern in a rug, or whether it's in a clay tablet, or whether it's in a painting, or different forms in that way. So it's there sometimes to be recorded, what experiences one went through. Even if we look back in the cave paintings in ancient times, there, I believe, from my research, that there are different images and figures painted that are symbolic of transcendent states that they've gone through, visions that they've had, that they want to record. Our ancient peoples wanted to record in the caves where they had those experiences, the animated reality. And of course, along the way, we have this stream of feeling on the emotional side. So this is really the excitement, as I said, the roller coaster, the rise, the anticipation, it's going to be wonderful, and then the fall when it isn't, or when it's over. So there is also a very strong sexual energy in this, a sexual energy of I mean, sometimes, depending on what the chemistry is, people will get together with partners just because they've never had an experience with someone with red hair or whatever it might be. Well, I don't know what that's like. Oh, let's see what happens. There is this, let's see what happens. Think of Frodo, I begin the great adventure. Let's see what happens. And the growth that took part, and how he expanded in his experience, and how the hobbits also expanded by somehow getting through it. This is where tragedy and comedy come in. This is where drama comes in. This is the enjoyment of the animated life, and the life full of adventure and excitement and all the things that come along the way. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed that, my little rendition on the abstract circuitry. Remember, we're going to have mixes in us. So don't think I'm all abstract, unless you are. Unless in the abstract circuit diagram that's here, if you've got just those channels in you, then yeah, everything that I've said to you should resonate really, really deeply. and you've probably got the scars to prove it. So if you've liked this video, please do like and subscribe and share. And if you want to join my email list at the bottom of my homepage, I will continue to send out emails pretty much every week about different things that are happening and drawing your attention to hopefully some interesting things. All right, that's all for now. That's the end. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.